All right. Well, I appreciate you coming in.
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that you're being proactive about getting higher up in the food chain. Just basically, we're just going to talk a little bit about what your duties in this position is going to be as NCOIC running the shop down there. So let's just go ahead and kick it off, and we'll start with the job description, and we'll just run into it. The first of all, job description, it leads 26 military and 3 civilian personnel, maintaining 459 special and general purpose vehicles, equipment worth $67 million. What that basically boils down to is leadership skills and how your leadership skills and qualities are gonna key into this job. So if you can talk a little bit about your leadership and roles and things like that.
All right. Well, I've been in the military for about 10 years now. Started out as a body shop mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
And while I was body shop mechanic from 2004 to 2008, I deployed 3 different times.
Okay.
Well, technically 2. Third one was half and half.
Okay.
So pretty much in the desert, I was the only body shop mechanic. So I was in charge of my own little section, of course. Didn't have any leadership because nobody was underneath me, but I had the ability to decide on what I needed to do. You know, my initiative was EOD gave me a tasking of creating a ballistic glass defense for their turrets,
Okay.
and I took the initiative to get it accomplished and give them their protective security that I had asked for. By then, I had then got a line number. Became staff. I've had about 6 or 7 individuals directly underneath me through various jobs for vehicle maintenance. While I was deployed in 2011, I was the NCOIC of our vehicle maintenance shop with the Prime Beef unit.
Okay.
We had about 80 vehicles total for that. It wasn't a large shop, which is great because it was my first experience of being a leader in that and controlling a shop. We started out from the ground up. There was nothing there.
Okay.
We had basically just a temper tent awning was our shop. And
Right.
by the time we were done, we had a clamshell fully running with everything.
Okay.
My last deployment, I was the NCOIC of customer service. I had 2 airmen and NCO staff sergeant underneath me.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, we just ran the customer service, improved upon it. We made sure the vehicles were getting knocked out when they could be repaired under the 2-minute or the 2-hour time frame, and just made sure everything was done properly.
Yeah.
But,
So going from, I know, because I started out in body shop as well, and transitioning into a mechanic, how did you transition? Did you transition to that well?
I feel like I transitioned into it well. I mean, it was either a sink or swim at the time
Right.
because we didn't have a choice. But most of the stuff in the body shop is mostly just repairing parts, with the exception of painting. Well, when you get into mechanics, it's still just replacing parts if that's what's required.
Right.
Now, when that happened, I wasn't as strong in the technical field with diagnostic and troubleshooting. And over the last couple of years, that's what I've been getting more into. I attended a global de-icer class a couple times. I got the Detroit engine class, and within the last year, I also went down to Fort Hueneme and attended the advanced vehicle diagnostic and electrical systems to keep up with all the computer systems that are coming out in modern day vehicles.
Good. So when you were deployed, I forgot where it was, where you actually built it from the ground up. You have experience in actually basically making a vehicle maintenance compound and getting everything together. So that's good. We're going to go ahead and skip the next question because the next question is basically how good are your mechanic skills. I think you pretty well talked about that. The big one is conduct in-depth evaluations to eliminate productivity, reliability, safety, and quality of maintenance problems. So basically what that's asking is how you're going to enhance productivity, quality, and especially safety around the shop.
Well, enhancing, it may be a slow start out with, they can't make any promises right off the bat. But with productivity, I got to make sure that I know where my mechanics are all at, what their skill levels are.
Right.
Depending on the workload, if we have a very strong workload coming in, then I'd have to assign them accordingly. If it's not as strong, I can assign a strong mechanic under a certain type of vehicle with a new airman or a mechanic who needs more training on that specific area, so that way it's just not one or two individuals knowing it. You know, we can broaden our scope.
Mhm.
I think by that, over time, the productivity will increase, but again, it depends on workflow.
Right.
Again, that plays in with quality is if you got mechanics that are properly trained,
Right.
then you don't have to worry about the numbers getting out. It's all about the quality. You know,
Exactly.
getting it done right the first time, that vehicle stays out and doesn't come back.
Good.
So,
Okay.
and the last item was safety. Well, all shops have to be safe. You know, proper training, as I said, is effective, but not just training on the vehicle, but training on the equipment that we have to utilize for repairs, troubleshooting, just safety equipment. You know, noticing that something may be cracked, broken, damaged. Just that acknowledgement will increase, you know, safety
Right.
in general.
Okay. For the safety portion, there's been a lot of incidents around the shop for personnel's getting hurt or using eye protection or things like that. Just it's common sense stuff. Is there anything that you might be able to put in to alleviate that problem?
I believe just, you know, reiterating kind of beats the horse sometimes.
Right.
Not just discussing with them, you know, or telling them, hey, this is what you need to do. It's just every once in a while popping up, say, hey, you know, are you doing this okay? Is there anything you may be missing? Kind of make it to see if they can acknowledge what they have done wrong if they're not utilizing that proper PPE.
Okay.
You know, personally, I found in the past that, you know, I've been caught several times without it. I'll acknowledge that, but at that time, I didn't realize that I wasn't using it. I had it. It just, for some reason, I got complacent and it just didn't happen. Whereas my leader at that time just pretty much did the same thing. Came up and said, you know, hey, what's going on?
Right.
And it took a while, but then it just clicked. Hey, why am I not wearing this stuff?
Yeah.
So
Good. I'm glad that you're honest about that. We need that on the floor is honesty and good leadership. So I think we covered everything pretty well. Did you have any questions for me to wrap this up?
no.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming
No
in.
problem.
And I'll let you know.